One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his step, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. The whistles report and pace his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Happy freaking Topless Taco Tuesday, man. Hopefully everyone is enjoying their morning so far. I know the hell we are over here. Much love, honor, and respect, everybody, man. We got a lot to get through this morning, so we're going to kind of just jump right into it, man. We have 6 stories, but actually we have 7 if we have enough time to be able to fit it in, but there's a lot going on in the world, a lot of updates on some things, so of course there's just a lot to get through here. So anyways, the way that I have this titled is Boulder terror attack update, as well as Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal, as well as a Brinks truck robbed in Queens. So we have a lot to get through, though. Those are just a few of the things that we're going to be talking about this morning. But before we get into all of the craziness, man, make sure you guys come in and like that, hit that like button, man. I swear, it's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. It helps us out, and it's free. Okay, I know it's very laborious. I know, chat. I know, I understand that you guys, it's one extra step. Anyways, hitting that subscribe is also free, by the way. Please consider becoming a member, starting only at $2.99 a month, making sure we're not going to be breaking the bank out there with anybody, man. But this is exactly what allows us to speak the way that we do. We're 100% funded by you guys, and I'm very honored to be able to have this platform and be able to do this, man. Very much appreciate it. And every Saturday morning, we give back to our members, and we have a members-only live stream where we're pretty much fucking uncensored over there. Oh, shit. Get to see a lot more than you can normally. So, anyways, little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my lifestyle, but as well as the show and Millennial Food Time, all the fun shit, man. A great way to get a hold of me one-on-one, but if you guys would like to join in on the conversation, Naomi is dropping the link into the chat for you guys to join the Discord. As well, if you guys are watching this on the playback, we have that in the description box of every single video. So, okay. And last but not least, man, okay? Last but not least, every super chat, super sticker, gifted membership signups, all these things, of course, are going to be shouted out and presented live onto the show and read. But listen, if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they do over there, and Apple also does a 30% cut, so that's 60% off the top. Listen, if you guys would like to have 100% of your money go to, your favorite content creator or whoever, these are the best ways to do it for anybody. I'm not just saying for me. I'm saying that that's for anybody. But right here, man, we have these. I'll allow these to scroll. And, of course, I'll shout you and your message out over there. And, yeah, it'll be presented onto the show as well. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to get through. I'm going to go ahead and try to get through the chat very quickly, because we do have a lot to get through this morning. And I'm going to even have a lot of shit sped up. So We got freaking Papa Penguin. We got brother Steve Easy. We got Christopher Collins. We got Naomi as well. Good morning to all of you guys, man. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We got Charles saying, where's Lucy? Or, she's flying around here somewhere. She's awake though. You'll see her in the background most likely if she's not hiding under the couch. But I just saw her right before I started the show. She was running around behind me. So let's see. We got Robert Demita, my man. Good morning to you as well. Happy Topless Taco Tuesday. How about that? Boom, boom. There we go. I fucked that up a little bit, but it's all right. It's all good. We got Carney's Ride as well. We got Damien, my man. Good morning to you guys. We got Rabbit of Chaos. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you all so much for hanging out, man. We got Miss Lotus as well down there in Florida. Thank you, man, for all of you guys, man. We got Frederick Frame as well. Good morning. We got Sick Bastard, my man. Always appreciate you as well. We got Anson, my man, chairman of the board. Apparently YouTube prevents me from copying your second poll option in the chat. Yeah, it might not be, it may not just slide so well with the AI on YouTube, We got Tiffany Lance. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys. Let's see. We got Mother Firefly. We got Kat up in here. Good morning to you as well. Let's see. We got the cash apps being dropped and the links and stuff like that by the mods. So I very much appreciate you guys and your help on the channel. We got brother Frank as well, my man. Good morning. Good morning. All right, we're about to get into this shit. I'm enjoying a bottle of Jameson for lunch with y'all. Hell yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Gotta love it, bro. All right, let's go ahead and get into the craziness of today, man. So we're going to go ahead and start this off with Russia-Ukraine peace talks. We have a prisoner swap agreed to after the massive drone attacks. So this one is going to be a little bit of a lengthy story. But real quick, before I even get into it, I do want to let you guys know what our lineup for the day is. At least, I was, transparent from the very beginning. So that's the first story. The second story is Trump on a nuclear deal. U.S. won't let Iran enrich uranium. And then we have an FBI update on the Boulder attack was planned for a year. Solomon wanted to kill Zionist people. That's actually a headline. Then we have the Brinks truck robbed in Queens. Suspect gets away with $300,000 cash. Then we're going to be moving into Israel on two different things here. One is on regards to the war, IDF forces on Gaza aid site attacked, and then into Israel blames media for Boulder attack and Israeli staffers killed. So now we have David Mencer, the spokesperson for the government of Israel. He comes out and he's going to be speaking to everybody as well. And if we have enough time, we have an update on the whole undocumented immigrant that was falsely whatever, the Ryan Garcia case or whatever. I guess there's an update. It just came out right when I was going live. So if we have enough time at the end here, then we'll go ahead and play it. But this is our main lineup for the day. So let's go ahead and get into the craziness.
And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft. Thanks for being with us. A little past now, the bottom of the hour. Well, we want to get all the updates out of Istanbul, Turkey. For the second time, direct talks taking place between the Russian side and the Ukrainian side in hopes to end the war, though Russia rejects.
Yes, I have that update, Papa Penguin. He got rejected. He was turned away from buying a firearm. So, yeah, I mean, he resorted to that. I'm going to guess he resorted to Molotov cocktails because he couldn't get his hands on an actual one. He probably doesn't have any good American friends here or anybody that whatever, he probably had no idea how to get something like that, but whatever.
Yet again, the prospect and the notion of an unconditional ceasefire. Fox's Greg Palcott has more details from down on the ground. Let's listen.
While talks are moving slowly to find an end to the war between Russia and Ukraine, the war itself is heating up, including a daring move by Ukraine.
To say it's brilliant may be a little bit of an understatement.
Over the weekend, Kyiv launched drones targeting military air bases across Russia. in some cases thousands of miles from Ukraine in Siberia and near China. Ukraine claims to have hit over 40 bombers, a third of Russia's long-range fleet. The drones smuggled to locations near the bases, then sent from trucks, fired remotely, adding to the surprise. 2 bridges in Russia also hit, leaving casualties and destruction.
Russia must feel what its losses mean. That is what will push it toward diplomacy.
Moscow also active
We saw these images yesterday morning, right?
this weekend with its biggest joint air attack
Yes,
of the war.
we did.
Nearly 500 drones plus missiles fired.
That's a new image. I haven't seen this pan around.
A Ukrainian military base, one of the targets, leaving 12 soldiers killed, 60 injured. As for the new round of talks today between Ukraine and Russia in Istanbul, not much headway. Russia still balking on a full-fledged pause in the fighting.
We have proposed a concrete and genuine ceasefire for 2 to 3 days in certain areas of the front.
Russia and Ukraine agreeing to exchange more prisoners of war and the bodies of 12,000 soldiers. A recent congressional visit to Ukraine underscoring the need to find a way to stop the fighting.
Ending this war the right way makes the world safer.
Senator Graham is pushing a bill in Congress that would slap more sanctions on Russia. All the while, the war goes on in all sorts of ways.
He was just perfect. As you typed that, dude popped up on the screen. That was great timing.
In London, Greg Balcott, Fox News.
Fox News. Why do
Greg,
they do
thanks
that?
so much. Well, Volodymyr Zelensky
Why are you gay? Why do you have to do that? Emphasize the news. I don't get it.
responding to that daring assault inside Russian territory, that drone attack that took out more than 40 of Russia's aerial bombers there.
Let me go ahead and speed it up a little bit.
There on the tarmac. Zelensky weighing in on this today. I want to put this up. He says this in response to journalists' questions.
So Zelensky said this on Twitter or X, whatever.
Emphasized that yesterday, Ukraine carried out a brilliant operation planned and executed independently by our side, saying Ukraine is making it clear we're not going to surrender and we will not accept any ultimatums, but we do not want war. We do not want to show our strength. We are forced to because the enemy refuses to stop. Zelensky also said when asked by journalists whether yesterday's operation might enrage the Russians, he said, I responded that just a day earlier, Russia had launched a massive overnight attack on Ukraine.
What's up, Mr. Mister, by the way? Happy Topless Taco Tuesday to you.
Over 480 drones and missiles. Zelensky says, and when we do show our strength, we do it justly, striking military targets. We show it not only to the Russian aggressors, but also to those of our allies who were once strong supporters but have started to waver. Trust in Ukrainians and belief in Ukraine has been restored. I believe the outcome of this operation is a very strong one. So you see there Zelensky taking somewhat of a victory lap over this daring enterprise, this assault there against the Russian fleet. Let's bring into the conversation our friend there at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, retired Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery. He joins us. Mark, so good of you to be with us. Had to get you on again. You were on last night. We were talking about
the Ukrainian lover boy, the gay boy for Ukraine.
This kind of a preview of what to expect there in Istanbul. From my understanding from the reporting, they met for just a little.
Yo, we got Bill Castle up in the building. Shout out to my man right there. Good morning, man.
Over an hour, and this was not much. And I have to ask you, is this just a show of diplomacy? Are they serious? Is Russia serious? Or are they doing this for Trump only? What did you make of this? Not much out of Istanbul today, was there?
Andrew, thank you for having me. And no, there wasn't. And in fact, I almost consider this an insult to President Trump. He has been very patient with President Putin and told him repeatedly to stop the long-range strikes, come to the table with realistic talking points. And his side has not. I mean, what they were discussing today was tantamount to a complete disarming of Ukraine, a giving up territory that Russia doesn't even hold yet, and a cessation of all U.S. support. It's as if President Putin is not listening to President Trump. President Trump has said he was going to give him another week or 2 weeks to get his act together. If this is any indication, I expect President Trump will be taking some pretty serious action next week.
Okay, so I just want to highlight, Mark, for the viewers, Russia's memorandum of peace that they put forth during the talks. They were supposed to do it, or was expected before the talks to be offered. It was not. I just want to issue that caveat. So the demands, according to Max Sedin, he's a great resource on social media, amount to, he says, surrender, regime change, and putting Ukraine back in Russia's grip. They are this. I'm going to read some of them. This is from Russia, remember, demands on Ukraine to end the war. Russia wants Ukraine to withdraw from 4 partially occupied regions and to let Russia have them, and to have international recognition, Mark, after that. They want Ukraine to pledge to never join any military alliances or coalitions, i.e. NATO, and no foreign boots on the ground or military infrastructure either. That's just two of them. A couple more. That any current or future efforts to end this war are rolled back or banned. No nuclear weapons for Ukraine. Caps on Ukraine's military. Far-right units in Ukraine's military.
Yo, real quick. Brother Steve Easy coming in hot, man. Very much appreciate that. Gifting out a membership for one of y'all. Very much appreciate that. Oh, Cody in the chat got it. I had to look on my phone in order to see who got it. But I very much appreciate your contribution there, kind sir.
Disbanded.
And for the rest of you, the pocket watchers, not you guys in the chat. I'm just talking about pocket watchers out there.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit.
Full guarantee of rights for Russian speakers, and Russian becomes an official language. A ban on glorification and promoting of Nazism and neo-Nazism. Nationalist parties and groups are disbanded. All Western sanctions are lifted. No sanctions can be introduced in.
What's up, Sport Brand? Shit, my schedule has never ever changed. I think since actually I can't say that's not true, but like since I went solo, since I went by myself, because I used to run a couple of different shows with other co-hosts and other hosts. But since I've gone to my own ordeal, I've stuck to that for like, I don't know, year and a half now at this point. What do you think, Steve Easy and Papa, everyone in the chat? What do you guys think? All the OGs. But yeah, good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday, man.
In the future either. And the list goes on and on. Also, both sides agree not to demand reparations. Ukraine rolls back its restrictions on the Russian Orthodox Church. And like I said, the list goes on and on, Mark. So Russia came to the table with some demands, but they were being described in the West and amongst Ukrainians as completely untenable, not serious. Is that fair?
That's fair. And as I said, this is a...
Yo, we got chatting with Stacks up in the beauty. Shout out to you, man. Hopefully you are also enjoying your morning, man. Good to see you.
A slap in the face to Zelensky. But the true insult is to President Trump. He has shown so much patience with Putin over the last 3 months. Putin has summarily rejected every entree from the president. The president's asked him to be reasonable. Nothing you just said was reasonable. I think it's implied in how you told the story. And it's absolutely an unacceptable offer. And, at the same time...
Oh, my goodness, this guy.
Ukraine has made significant critical minerals deal with the United States.
Oh, my God. Ukraine has made concessions. Yeah, forced concessions.
Zelensky, he may not have had a great talk in the Oval Office, but the last 2 months has been one of great cooperation between President Zelensky and President Trump's vision for how to end this war.
Hey, listen, it is what it is, Steve. It is what it is. We accept the things we cannot change.
Oh shit!
And then you have President Putin with this abject rejection of President Trump's efforts.
And in order to be accurate, obviously, there were some slight concessions made and agreements made. I'm going to read them there in the talk. So Ukraine's defense minister, Umarov, he said that all POWs who are under the age of 25 or in serious medical condition, they will be exchanged. The Russian side said it would hand over 6,000 Ukrainian bodies and at least 1,000 Ukrainian prisoners of war. So that's, for Ukraine, somewhat significant. The Russian position, as stated in the peace memo, remains, quote, as usual, and includes demands Ukraine withdraw from regions of Ukraine that Russia claims we were into that.
Mr. I really appreciate you sharing out the live, man. That's a fucking W, and I'm going to give it to you, man. Hell yeah. I appreciate that. We got Scrambled North, yeah, saying down 12%. Shit.
Also, the Russians proposed returning 10 children taken from Ukraine into
Good morning,
Russia
by the way.
by July the 10th, in about a month's time, noting that was a fraction of the number of Ukrainian children held in Russia. Mark, if you could elucidate this issue, which is specific to this very war, the fact that Russia has kidnapped, confiscated, absconded with thousands of Ukrainian children. In these very talks, Ukraine wanted 400 of them back. Russia said, we'll give you 10. What's going on here? Why is Russia doing that? Why is Russia making this not a bug, but a...
He's playing into it a little bit because he knows this guy is just a Ukrainian apologist.
Feature of this war.
Yeah. So this is about Russia is kidnapping these children, indoctrinating them, and in some cases with the teenagers, putting back into action as Russian combatants. So the the Ukrainians want these children badly, as any parent would. But this is part of the kind of the depersonification of.
Wait. Deep part. Oh my God, this guy trying to like not make them people and shit. Yeah, okay. This guy. We got Naomi Sin. We making a command over here. We're stopping the show. Make sure you guys hit that like button. You guys don't have to like the craziness that's happening around the world, but you guys can like it for me and my takes. You know what I mean? I know it's very laborious, so I very much appreciate your guys' labor. Very much appreciate that.
Ukraine that Putin is trying to do. He treats them as less than normal humans, and he treats them as less than a normal state. The same issues with the Russian Orthodox Church and the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. American evangelicals have played a big role in highlighting the illegal activities.
Yo, brother Dwayne, my man. Good morning.
In Ukraine, particularly against the children, and I'm glad they've drawn attention to this, and I hope the president watches it. This is an important issue to American Christians that the children are treated properly, returned to their parents, and not a fraction of them. I mean, as you mentioned, it was 2% of the ones that were asked for, and that's an even smaller percentage than the ones that the Ukrainians think were actually taken.
I mean, Mark, also, I have to note, I'd be remiss if I didn't. That issue in the war.
This dude talks like a typical politician, you know,
is one of the predicates that the International Criminal Court used to issue arrest warrants against Russian President Vladimir Putin. And sometimes, and I'm editorializing here, but I think that issue gets lost in the kind of total coverage of the war itself. And you know how war goes, Mark. Can you see a scenario in which some of these children will never be repatriated back to Ukraine?
I'm confident there's a scenario in which some of these children are never repatriated. I mean, that scenario is one in which Putin is not dislodged from power, which no one is looking to do. That is not a U.S. war aim or a Ukrainian war aim, to see a regime change in Russia. But without a regime change in Russia, I don't think all these children are coming home. And you're absolutely right. Of all the many things that you could possibly accuse the Russian president of as a war crime, and there are.
Okay, all right. I've had enough of this dude. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on into the Trump on an update on Trump on nuclear deal. U.S. won't let Iran enrich uranium. So let me go ahead and get this page shared. One sec. Boomskis. All right, let's get at it. Israel pushes back on accusation IDF attacked aid site. So this is about to change this little thing because I actually do have that story. I do have that story as well.
All right. In the meantime, here we're going to transition not too far from the Israel-Hamas conflict now to talks, negotiations ongoing between the United States and Iran. The United States putting a nuclear deal on the table. I want to put up this tweet from Axios' Barak Ravid. He's a great reporter, and I'm going to read from his piece published just today. He reports this, quote, "The nuclear deal proposal the U.S. gave Iran Saturday would allow limited low-level uranium enrichment on Iranian soil for a to-be-determined period of time." That's according to Axios' reporting that they said contradicted public statements from top officials. They say, why does it matter? The White House envoy, Steve Witkoff, and Secretary...
Oh, are they really, Steve? That's fucking awesome. When are they doing that?
Secretary of State Marco Rubio have said publicly that the United States will not allow Iran to enrich uranium and will demand the full dismantlement of Iran's nuclear facilities. The secret proposal shows far more flexibility on both points. Now, Iran has consistently said it won't sign any deal that bans enrichment for civilian purposes, a red line that is irreconcilable with the U.S. public posture. But the proposal described to Axios by two sources with direct knowledge, one of whom provided a point-by-point breakdown, would seem to offer a clear path to a deal. By making this offer, Ravid reports, the Trump administration is risking backlash from its allies on the Hill and in Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu's government and dozens of Republican senators...
Hold on, let me go ahead and speed this up a little bit. It's also on normal. We'll bring it to 1.25.
have pushed the administration to maintain red lines on zero nuclear enrichment and the full dismantlement of Iran's nuclear program. The White House did not deny any of the details of the proposal described to Axios, but President Trump weighed in on this very piece that I'm reading from, saying this: the auto pen should have stopped Iran a long time ago from enriching. Under our potential agreement, we will not allow any enrichment of uranium.
He's calling out the auto pen. That's so funny.
So, What is true? What is not here? Let's bring into the conversation our friend there at UCLA, Benjamin Rad. He joins me. Benjamin, so good of you to be with us. It's been a while, but a lot has happened in the U.S.-Iranian space.
Oh, great. Global Studies lecturer at UCLA. Oh, boy.
They're talking to each other. You know that here, but contradictory reports in this piece in Axios.
I'm sure this guy is going to just, we love Iran.
Again, that the proposal the United States put on the table for Iran.
They're human beings. They should be allowed to have a nuclear weapon.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Stop the cap.
Oh, shit.
Stupid.
Would allow limited low-level uranium enrichment, rather. President Trump is saying that's not the case here. What more do we know? And Benjamin, I think he might be muted there.
He's muted. Damn it. Not a good way to start. Oh, man. Oh.
Emotional damage.
Okay, sorry about that. We do seem to have some conflicting messages here. And in the past, this has been...
Why are you gay? You are gay. What's up, David? Good morning. And we got Mile High as well, man. I got you. I got you right here. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Topless Taco Tuesday to everybody. Get down with your bad self.
Something that President Trump has used as part of his negotiation tactics. We've seen it especially in his social media posts with regards to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, where we'll see the administration behind the scenes, or at least through its diplomats and through its emissaries, take one position and negotiate on that basis, and then have him on Truth Social post something else entirely. And it is part of what he does to negotiate. It is meant to demonstrate to Iran that there is a line for the United States.
Robert Demita, not on the mainstream media. It's one thing when you're on a panel, you know what I mean? But you're on the mainstream media being internationally watched right now. Oh, no big deal.
But I'm not convinced that this no enrichment position is the ultimate red line. I think the administration has acknowledged that in order to get the kind of deal that it wants, providing Iran with access to a degree of enriched uranium, something well below the 20% threshold, above which you have weaponization, below that it can be used for civilian purposes, especially for energy. That's something that would be viable. And monitor it.
And he's lagging. Fuck, dude. Come on. You can't get your audio right. Can't get your video or streaming right. Oh, my God. We got GEG, by the way. Good morning to you, kind sir.
How do you prevent it from going further? How do you prevent it from being abused?
And Gorilla
beyond those
Biscuit.
thresholds? The logistical challenge is not so much whether any enrichment can happen, but whether you can confine it to a degree that is safe.
But I have to ask, I mean, to the outside observer, is Iran really serious about the civilian uses of nuclear energy, or is that some type of facade?
And Dragon Classy, all you legends are coming in, man.
Great question, and it remains a big unknown. Now, it's publicly taken the position that nuclear...
And I very much appreciate you guys hitting that like button. Yes, I did halt the show to say that. I sure fucking did, but I very much appreciate you guys hitting that like.
Weapons are against the Islamic Republic's constitution, against the words of its founding leader, Ayatollah Khomeini. And what Iran wants more than anything is sanctions relief, above and beyond nuclear enrichment.
So let's just go ahead and give Iran what they want. They're Mr. Lecturer from UCLA, Global Studies.
It needs the sanctions relief. It needs it to revitalize its economy, to satisfy the critics at home, to really prevent any opposition forming of the likes of which we've seen over the last few years or so. And whether or not they actually want to pursue a weapon, I believe there are hardliners that do. They see it as leveraged against an unpredictable, unstable world. They live in a part of the world where threats are made against them, and they themselves make threats. And so they see having nuclear weapons as nothing more than a tool in its arsenal, something that other countries do. Do they want it? Yes. Are they willing to forego sanctions relief forever to get it? I don't think so.
Okay, but the president and others in his orbit, they've already set the red line that Iran's not going to get any nuclear weapons, that we're going to dismantle their nuclear.
Hey, man, I very much appreciate that. Even if you're coming in for like 30 seconds, bro, like I always appreciate, small things like that. They're big, so I very much appreciate you hanging out with us.
Nuclear weapons enrichment program.
See, on the flip side?
So yes, to your point, it does seem like contradictions abound here in these statements, in these stories. But I have to ask, if the proposal would allow limited low-level uranium enrichments, isn't that the same thing as the JCPOA kind of brokered by former President Barack Obama
and Sleeping Joe?
At the time.
Good morning.
Same Iranian nuclear deal that Donald Trump pulled out of in 2017. Isn't this just a carbon copy of that?
The irony is that we're getting very close to what that deal was. And I think that it's difficult.
My man, Gunpowder Nitro,
Difficult to see where there is a whole lot of difference. Now, the deal that's been leaked, the one that Witkoff is negotiating that's proposed, does have some language in there about dismantling existing facilities that are subterranean and putting other restrictions. But really, by and large, it's very similar to the JCPOA, the 2015 deal. And what remains to be seen is, are there going to be any restrictions on Iran's ballistic missile program? Because that
we got brother Hook Dog as well. Shit. Over there in Cali. Good to see you guys, man.
It's a key part of this, right?
Yeah.
If Iran is developing a ballistic missile program, one that is meant to build missiles that can be equipped with a nuclear warhead, why do so if you have no intention of building a nuclear weapon? That was an issue in 2015 that wasn't sufficiently addressed, and this is a chance Trump has to take those types of missiles off the table completely.
Yeah, I just feel like we're kind of through the looking glass here. We're in some sort of deja vu. Now, under the proposal, Axios is reporting Iran would not be allowed to build any new enrichment facilities and must, quote, dismantle critical infrastructure for conversion and processing of uranium. The proposal also states Iran would have to halt new research and development on centrifuges. One of the key issues in enforcing any deal that is in the future agreed to is to get international inspectors on the ground inside Iran to make sure they're complying. That's always been an issue with this. Is that going to be part of the deal that's put on the table?
Well, it has to be. It's the only way to ensure compliance, like you said, whether it's having security cameras at specific installations or allowing for periodic inspections or spot inspections called upon at sort of a, with very short notice. The issue is...
this guy is insufferable. Okay, I'm done with him. We know enough about Iran's not going to get a fucking nuke. That's just part of the negotiations. If we're going to have a deal ever with them, that's what it's going to be agreed upon, is they're not allowed to have shit. So we're going to go into the update regarding the Boulder attack. This was 4 hours ago, to give you guys context. The FBI came out and Boulder attack was planned for a year. Solomon wanted to kill Zionist people. All right.
I do want to start this morning on another story we have been following as we learn more about the man charged with hurling incendiary devices and using a makeshift flamethrower.
Makeshift flamethrower. Just call it fucking Molotov cocktails. That's what the entire world knows them as.
At a crowd in Boulder, Colorado, injuring at least 12 people. Federal authorities now say Mohammed Sabri Solomon disguised himself as a gardener and was carrying 18 Molotov cocktails, but only threw 2 during the terror attack.
And Brother Dean, shit.
Court documents allege the 45-year-old planned that attack for more than a year and specifically targeted what he described as a, quote, Zionist group. He was in court Monday very briefly. Take a listen.
I'm going to ask many of the questions that I have to your counsel, but I need to first address...
You gotta love it. This is him getting his bail set. I think his bail is set for like 300. Wait, what is it? 300,000 or something like that? 500. I can't remember, honestly. And I was like, damn, just that? Honestly? You just terrorized motherfuckers and your bail is 300,000, so you're getting out at $30,000. Like, get the fuck out of here. We got my man Chase as well. Good morning, kind sir. Good to see you guys. Happy Topless Taco Tuesday to everybody. Absolutely. And hit that like button. Yes, very much appreciate that.
Ask you directly and make sure that you have received and that you understand the protection order that the court just issued. It keeps you from contacting any of the people who are named as the victims in the alleged offense. Did you receive the protection order? Do you understand it? Yes. Thank you. With respect to bond, the court previously set bond on the written affidavit.
I hope it's 10 million. I hope that I was just wrong in that number. Probably some social media shit, but I do hope that it's 10 million.
Set at $10 million.
Yes.
Cash only.
Yes. Cash only. Woo! Motherfucker, you're not allowed to take any credit card. You know what I mean? Shit. Cash only, motherfucker.
On the written affidavit, it is set at $10 million cash only.
Woo! Yep, fuck around, find out. Piece of shit.
Again, a very brief hearing right there, but the FBI is investigating this as a targeted terror attack, saying the suspect yelled at Free Palestine. The agency adding the 12 people injured were part of a group raising awareness of the nearly 60 Israeli hostages that have been held in Gaza for more than 600 days. The attack came as it appears that talks have once again stalled for a pause in the fighting in Gaza. President Trump saying Israel accepted a U.S. brokered peace deal, but the Hamas terror group came back with even more demands, which the Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff described as unacceptable. As always, a lot to discuss there about this terror attack and also the happenings in the Middle East. I do want to bring in Dr. Asaf Romarowski, the Executive Director of Scholars for Peace in the Middle East. Thank you so much.
That's a little bit of an oxymoron. Scholars for Peace in the Middle East. There's never been peace. How can you be a scholar of something that's never happened? You know what I mean? Just asking questions. Just asking questions.
Much for taking the time to be here with us, as always.
Thank you,
Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Well, first off, I do want to talk about the suspect and the terror attack there in Boulder, Colorado. Obviously, a lot of information here coming in over the last 24 hours from those court documents that were obtained from various news sources. And I did want to ask you, from what we know so far, does it appear that this was a lone actor, an actor working by himself, or does it appear this is part of a larger group?
So let's contextualize it for starters. I mean, I think that it's still early to figure out his particular affiliations. That being said, I think we need to put it within the context of a larger pattern of behavior that we've seen here.
Yes, sir. Brother Beezer, he knows the deal. He says, ask those questions. Morning, fam. Good to see you. Happy Topless Taco to you as well. I know you partake.
Back in Passover, we saw a attack on the Governor Shapiro's house here in Pennsylvania. We saw this a week and a half ago. We saw the attack on the 2 staffers at the embassy, at the Israeli embassy, at the Jewish Museum in
What's
Washington.
funny is I make fun of him, David, but this guy is actually, yes, of course, going to be biased, but he actually has a huge insight from both sides. This is usually like when the whole ordeal originally was going down with with Hamas and all that. He had intel and was able to report the stats from their side accurately, and that's something that I do. I sit back, I'm like, wow, that's dope that you're able to do some tunnel shit like that, like most likely some Telegram level communications and stuff. But nonetheless, does a great job doing this. Anything regarding the Middle East is actually really good on. Gotta give flowers where credit where credit's due, kind of thing.
And now we're seeing this attack in Boulder, Colorado.
Oh,
Boulder, Colorado, and the DC attack all used statements and cries for this.
All right, so we got Naomi sending $40, by the way, on the PayPal. Thank you very much for that. That's extremely kind of you. Super selfless. But says, for the note, so you can stop the show and tell this bitch said to gift some memberships, hit the like, and of course, donate. Much love to my man. Hey, I very much appreciate you, Naomi. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Thank you very much for that.
Individual was calling for eradicating
Huge
all
W
Zionists
in the chat for Naomi.
And in DC, we saw F Palestine and Free Palestine, as well as globalized Intifada, and similar also with the attack on Shapiro's mansion during the holiday of Passover. There was also
that is
comments
true
about Shapiro's Jewishness, and so we're seeing a larger symptom here, where in the United States.
What's up, Straight Jacket? As well, man. We got all you legends popping in, as well as we got Air Guitar King. All I can think of is that darn chicken. Shit. Yeah, that chicken's bomb as fuck, wasn't it? It was bomb. We got Hardwire 1%er as well saying, oh shit, lost track of time. I'm late again. Well, it's just part of the way of the road. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But I very much appreciate you guys. I'm trying to catch up with you guys. I'm catching up with the chat right now. So, but much love, honor, respect to all of you legends, and make sure you guys hit that like button. I very much appreciate your guys' contributions and laborious work of the like button.
Words have meanings, and words actually kill.
And Frederick Frame up in here too.
Behavior that
everyone
on American college campuses during the encampments, and now we're seeing the same kind of statements coming out during the.
Yes, I heard that he didn't. Okay, I heard through the grapevine that he did end up unaliving one person. Now, I still have not heard that be reported. I just personally haven't heard that. But, so I didn't really even see them I think, honestly, if you're going to die in a Molotov cocktail ordeal, I think you're pretty stupid. You know, like, especially when it's only one dude. It's not like a mob of guys throwing, you know what I mean? It's like, move the fuck out of where the gas is and all the bullshit. Like, there was plenty of it on the ground, not lit. And I'm like, everyone move the fuck away, because we saw the footage of the actual incident, you know? Just not the actual throwing of it. We just saw the before and the aftermath, because they had to blur that whole part out.
Commencements. We're talking about the word globalized intifada. And from the river to the sea, this is actual anti-Semitic, barbaric terrorism, analogous to the same kind of behavior that the perpetrators of 10/7 did when they came in and barbarically killed Jews in the southern part of Israel. And so these words are not just peaceful protests. They're
Yes, there sure is. So let me show you how to do it real quick. So we got Air Guitar King in here, who's all right. So look, see how the chat is like this? See how there's an X button? Hit that X button. And when you hit that, boom, there's the like button now. You can hit it. So you just got to exit out of the live chat and then go back into the live chat. Anyways.
These are individuals who are seeking out Jews. And I would also add here that this case in particular in Colorado, where he was talking about eradicating and getting rid of all Zionists, I would note that he, like the others, are using the word Zionism and Judaism interchangeably. So when he's talking about Zionism, he's also meaning Jews. And so you're also seeing no distinction between any kind of political left, right, or center when it comes to the Jewish community, just the fact that they are Jews. And so that, of course, is extremely disturbing, extremely concerning. And you're also finding the affiliations of where these individuals are coming from. In particular now, some of the intelligence also is worthy of note. It is said that he has been inspired or been affiliated with groups associated with the Muslim Brotherhood. That again speaks to the connection to Hamas and other type groups that we're seeing around the world.
You talked about some of the
Rebecca's like, what the fuck have I walked into? Listen to this shit.
The parallels between attacks here in the U.S., but are we seeing, from what we saw there in Boulder, Colorado, and the other attacks here, similar parallels between other attacks that are happening in other countries, whether it's here in North America, if we're talking any other continent? Are we seeing parallels there as well?
That's the moment. So look at all the gas and all the shit from the vodka or whatever he used, gas or whatever. All on the ground, and everyone's just standing in it. Like before he was getting arrested, everyone was just kind of like laying in it. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Fucking, even if there is someone laying there and can't move, somebody that can move needs to push them out of the gasoline. Like, what are you doing? Crazy.
100%. I mean, we've seen these kind of attacks throughout Europe. We've seen it in the UK. We've seen it in Paris. We've seen it around. I mean, again, this concept and this idea, this notion of what is being used as globalizing intifada and targeting Jews. We've seen it at sports events. We've seen it at during theater events, and there was just another kind of threat at Jewish institutions. And we're seeing that now. What we saw in Washington, you're seeing it at Jewish restaurants, Jewish owners. I mean, so there is
What's up, Lindsay? Good morning to you.
There's a larger pattern here of targeting Jews and Israelis wherever they are. And that's part of the actionable aspect of continuing the war, which is not what you and I have discussed for months now, which is not only limited to the Middle East. There's been a clear concept of exporting the ideology. And not only that, when the foundation was being built, and something that we have discussed, again, in great detail, but is also worthy of note, 10/7 did not come in a vacuum. This is all part of what I would consider to be the normalizing of anti-Semitism in Western and American society. And the fact that this is the kind of actionable steps that are taking place to target Jews wherever they are, where they can't even protest. This was, as you mentioned correctly, they were protesting peacefully on a weekly basis to release the hostages. It is one of the most simplistic demands.
Yeah, no kidding. So it wasn't just old people. I mean, they were old people. They were 67 to 84. 84 was the oldest, or 85? I can't really remember, but it was right there in that window. Nonetheless, I guess these old citizens would protest weekly to release the hostages. And so, as this, I guess, was stated, was Solomon wanted to kill Zionist people.
the most basic humanitarian demands of releasing hostages and the most consensus-building aspects within American society and within Israel at large, just calling for the release of the hostages, given...
Not that they're Zionist for protesting to have the Hamas hostages released. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that is what was actually stated by the FBI. Boulder attack was planned for a year. Solomon wanted to kill Zionist people, quote unquote. So that was his way of going for quote unquote Zionists.
The hell that they've been going through.
What's up, Crystal Strange? Good morning.
It wasn't political. It was something that was, clearly a building, a kind of a common denominator within basic demands. However, anything supportive or sympathetic towards Israel or the Jewish state is clearly being targeted as a legitimate target. And this is exactly what Hamas does. And furthermore, they are basically depending on this global support outside of the Gaza Strip to continuously put pressure on Israel as far as their demands. And that's exactly the infrastructure they've been using to continue with this. And they've done the same thing with the college campuses.
We know that at this point, it does appear that the talks for a peace deal over in Gaza, that U.S. brokered deal, kind of falling apart. There doesn't appear to be a deal that will be reached anytime soon here.
Okay, so this is the update where I have on the title real quick, Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal. This is the update on it. And Asaf is totally qualified to talk on the ceasefire.
So that's all in flux. It's up in the air. But even if a deal were to be reached, does that likely stop attacks like this one? As the FBI did say, this man, they say, was screaming free Palestine. He said that he wanted to kill all Zionists. So does that stop the attacks?
No, unfortunately not. I mean, I actually think that it will increase the attacks. What you are seeing is that you've seen a radicalization of the agenda of the pro-Hamas, pro-Islamist, anti-Semitic, anti-Zionist rhetoric throughout. And the individuals in particular that we're talking about seem to be at times more supportive of Hamas and Hamas members themselves in the way that they're going around in such a cavalier way, calling for the eradication of the Jewish state, calling for the killing of Jews. And while they're the groups
that's the official picture, by the way, the Boulder Police Department put out on X. So that's the Egyptian that's made the cocktail, Molotov cocktails, and did this.
Affiliated with may not be directly the connectivity as it is layered. And
it is confirmed he is here illegally, and he's from Egypt.
Out within the Middle East. They are definitely inspired by all of this. This is an Egyptian individual who came with the same kind of ideology, has been inspired by the Muslim Brotherhood, which, by the way, began in Egypt. Hamas is an affiliate of the Muslim Brotherhood. And so these kind of attacks will continue. But they are clearly motivated by the idea that, in their perspective, and by the way, we've seen these series of attacks going back to the attack on the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we can get more chicken. That would be my third day in a row. Shit.
I mean, these things will unfortunately continue. And to my mind, that's exactly what needs to happen. We need to change this if we're going to start a clean slate. This goes back, legally speaking, it's worthy of note that he overstayed his visa, the way that he was here as far as his
What's up, brother Lee Lance? My man, good morning to you as well. Happy Topless Taco Tuesday to you and everybody in the chat. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, this is the kind of environment that, that the Trump administration has been trying to crack down on vis-a-vis transparency when it comes to background checks, affiliations with groups that are coming to the United States, how they're getting here, what they are perpetuating. And that's something that we need to be cracking down in a very significant way when it comes to dealing with the immigration problem, because this is not just an immigration problem. This is a matter of national security as far as exporting and importing ideology from the Middle East into the United States, and they're acting on it. And it's not only from it's not only from the Middle East, as we saw exactly from the case study in Washington. So this is, again, something that needs to be looked at very carefully as far as the kind of inspired ideology that motivates these individuals to act the way they are.
All right, Dr. Asaf Romorowski, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
No, I just think that, this is going to, obviously this is all fluid. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see more copycat type actions here that we're going to see.
Okay, I don't need to hear the wrap up of that. So we're going to go ahead and move into now a super wild story here. A Brinks truck was robbed in Queens, which is one of those, big security trucks that move money. I guess the suspect gets away with $300,000 cash. That's where I got the idea that that's where I was thinking about the $300,000 bail. Remember when I was like $300,000 bail? That's what I was conflating two things here. So the $300,000 was looted from the Brinks truck. So anyways, that clarifies why I thought that. Anyways.
Welcome back here on Live.
Let me go ahead and get this sped up as well. Shit. Hit that like button, everybody. This is a very short story.
Now from Fox 6:15 on the East Coast and 3:15 on the West Coast, we are taking a live look at this hour over New York City as we head in that direction for our next story. An armed robbery over in Queens. 2 suspects targeting a Brinks armed truck making a delivery at a Bank of America. Police say the pair made off with hundreds of thousands of dollars. Robert Moses with our Fox 5 New York team covering all of this and joining us live here with what we know and what is still left to figure out. Good morning, Robert.
God, this guy has terrible background noise on the street of New York. Shit. We got brother Chris Strange becoming a freaking member. Let's go, dude. Listen, man, I very much appreciate you. Thank you for your kind contribution to the channel there, kind sir. And becoming a member, make sure you hang out with us every Saturday morning. Of course, America time, not your time. But hey, we have a great ass time every single Saturday. But for the rest of you pocket watchers,
maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Yeah, nice on the heist. I mean, dude actually got away, huh? You know what I mean? And that's right, Carney. If they're prospects, you call them out. Make sure you get that drink for me,
Josh, good morning to you. This was a brazen armed robbery that took place outside of this Bank of America just a few minutes before it was set to open yesterday morning. So nearly 24 hours ago, police continued to look for 2 suspects who they say stole hundreds of thousands of dollars. Police tell us that the 2 suspects approached a driver and an armed guard who had pulled up.
That's right, freaking Beezer. That's absolutely correct. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
To the bank here on Linden Boulevard to do a cash drop. The suspects then displayed guns, stole cash from the truck, took a gun from the 62.
That's a weak-looking truck, yo. That thing looked weak as fuck. That is the Brinks truck? Oh, my God. That's what's transporting your money? Get the fuck out of town, dude.
Do a cash drop. The suspects then displayed guns, stole cash from the truck, took a gun from the 62-year-old armed guard, and then fled the scene in a black Chevy westbound on Linden Boulevard. Neither Brinks employee was injured, but this robbery troubles former NYPD Detective Dave Sarney for a number of reasons.
This is something we haven't seen in a long time. This is going to be obviously highly investigated because it's bank.
Yeah, haven't seen it in a long time. As people were like, Steve Easy said, he's like, people still rob bread trucks. I had no idea.
America, they were waiting to do a drop. Questions are going to come up as to were they being watched? Was this a setup? There was arrangement somewhere along the line? They're going to investigate. Is it an inside job? This is broad daylight. This is early in the morning, just before the bank opens up. You don't see this very often.
Sarney tells us that police will investigate any number of factors, including where the truck was before it arrived here at the bank, as well as whether it made any sudden turns or stops. Anything anomalous in its route could provide some key clues in this case.
Homie just got away with $300,000. Shit.
Oh, shit! So far, police have not told us any sort of description of either of these 2 suspects, and we also don't yet have
they don't have a description.
any surveillance imagery of them as this investigation continues this morning. Josh, back to you.
All right, Robert Moses there with our Fox 5.
Oh, man, good luck finding that dude. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on into Israel real quick. The first ordeal here is actually very quick. It's a very quick little story. It's like 3 minutes. So we're making actually somewhat decent time here. So let's do this. Let's do this thing.
Chaos erupting in Gaza on Sunday. An attack near an aid distribution site left dozens of people killed and more than 170 injured, according to the Hamas-run.
Damn, 170 injured, but how many killed?
Left dozens of people killed and
dozens. Okay.
More than 170 injured, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. Israeli forces denied claims they fired at civilians and instead accused Hamas of preventing distribution efforts.
He's spreading rumors, fake news. He's trying bluntly and violently to stop the people of Gaza from reaching those distribution centers.
The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is backed by the U.S. and Israel, says it delivered more than a dozen truckloads of aid to the site without any issues. The new aid system has operated for about a week, but has faced criticism for its distribution plan, which requires Palestinians to walk long distances to access supplies.
Israel has a clear obligation on international
That's right, Lee.
Stop the cap. Humanitarian law to agree to and facilitate aid, humanitarian aid.
The attack comes as Israel and Hamas trade blame after another attempt to secure a temporary ceasefire. Over the weekend, Hamas asked for amendments to a U.S.-backed proposal, including a complete withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza. President Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, called the response, quote, unacceptable.
They are continuing this fight. It would stop immediately if they simply agreed to being normal human beings, but they have not done it.
Under the latest proposal, Israel has the option to resume fighting after a 60-day pause. In Washington, David Spunt, Fox News.
Fox News.
David, thank you so much. And we are now hearing from the Israel Defense Forces. This statement is a lengthy one, but you can see the start of it on their X page. I'm going to read it in full, though. Earlier today, during the movement of the crowd along the designated routes toward the aid distribution site, approximately half a kilometer from the site, IDF troops identified several suspects moving toward them, deviating from the designated routes. The troops carried out warning fire, and after the suspects failed to retreat, additional shots were directed near individual suspects who then advanced toward the troops. The IDF is aware of reports regarding casualties, and the details of the incident are being looked into. The IDF allows the American civil organization, the GHF, to operate independently in order to enable the distribution of aid to the Gazan residents and not to Hamas. IDF troops are not preventing the arrival of Gazan civilians to the humanitarian aid distribution sites. The warning shots were fired about half a kilometer away from the aid distribution site towards several suspects who advanced toward the troops in such a way that posed a threat to them. So again, all of this is sort of under investigation. This is the third such incident, and we know that the initial one that was reported over the weekend by the Hamas-led Palestinian Health Ministry, the IDF released video that did show what they say is troops not firing at the folks who were trying to get the aid, but rather someone else, and possibly multiple people there in the crowd who were responsible.
Yeah. All right. So what I kind of chalked that up to was we saw yesterday, I believe that we reported this. Yes, we did, where we saw it looked like some random, not an IDF member, but somebody with like some AK or something shooting into a just stack of Palestinians that are trying to get food. And it looked like, you know, and it was blamed that this was Israel's fault and all this shit and blah, blah, blah. Well, why are they robbing their own fucking people? Why are they shooting their own people? To scare off that huge mega crowd of people that are unarmed so that they can loot the shit? I mean, damn, dude, this shit is just out of control. All right, real quick, we're going to go ahead and do, dude, we don't have enough time for either of these because they're kind of two long ones. Let me see. I'll get the okay, what we'll do is instead of listening to the questions at the very end, we'll just hear the very beginning, and we'll skip through if he just starts going into some, you know, semantic bullshit. But we'll go ahead and leave this for the last one, and then we're going to stick around, though. We're going to be rating our brother Carney. Carney's right. He's hanging out this morning on the live as well, man. He's live himself. So we'll be sending you guys over there, so stick around for that.
Now, the IDF is very much aware of reports. The IDF is very much aware of reports of casualties and is reviewing the incident. But let me make a couple of points very clear. Firstly, the IDF is doing everything in its power to allow Gazans to get to the humanitarian aid. The IDF is not preventing
Let me go ahead and speed him up a little bit because he is a little slow.
the arrival of Gazans at humanitarian aid sites. Indeed, we are encouraging it. The warning shots were fired away from the aid distribution point in response to the threat perceived by the IDF troops. We've said many times.
Hold on.
The warning shots were fired away from the aid distribution point in response to the threat perceived by the IDF troops.
So it was IDF troops? What?
Humanitarian aid sites. Indeed, we are encouraging it. The warning shots were fired away from the aid distribution point in response to the threat perceived by the IDF troops. We've said many times already that the IDF has been facilitating the independent operation of this American NGO, the GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation.
Yes, which is an American organization.
Precisely to ensure that aid reaches civilians and not Hamas. We're cutting that lifeline to Hamas, the terrorist organization,
Be safe out there, brother Steve.
The aid and uses revenue, which it obscenely charges Gazans to get that aid, which they should get for free, and uses that revenue to pay for more terrorists. Let's be clear. Israel is not preventing Gazans from accessing humanitarian aid, and the IDF did not fire at civilians in or near aid distribution zones. Now, from the incident on Sunday, the IDF's initial investigation confirms that serious accusations made on Sunday in so much of the media, they were based on Hamas propaganda. The IDF has already proved them, has put out materials proving them to be false and baseless. Now, we say this respectfully to colleagues in the media.
Say it with the chest.
We urge the media, do not amplify Hamas disinformation. Verify before reporting. The IDF operates in full accordance with international law, taking every single precaution to avoid civilian harm, even while under threat. And our forces on the ground will continue to defend themselves and facilitate aid delivery to civilians, to Gazans, and not to Hamas. Lastly, before we go into your questions, to Boulder, Colorado.
Right. This is the last part that we'll listen to. We're not going to take his questions and all that.
The Prime Minister and the entire state of Israel pray for the full recovery of the wounded in this vicious terror attack that took place in Boulder, Colorado. Israel trusts the American authorities will prosecute the cold-blooded perpetrator to the fullest extent of the law, and will do everything possible to prevent future attacks against innocent civilians. It's very clear by now. These are anti-Semitic attacks, and they're happening around the world. And we are also very clear, and we know that they are a direct result of the blood libels against the Jewish state and its people, and this must be stopped. Hamas invent lies, the media unfortunately repeat them, and the result is Jews attacked, murdered, or with Molotov cocktails thrown at them. Okay, that's the end of our brief.
Wow. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I very much appreciate every single one of you guys making this show exactly what it is, man. I can't do this shit without you guys. So big W to you guys in the Breakfast Club. Always appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for making this very show what it is and supporting it all along the way and making sure that you guys hit that like button too, man, on the way out. You know, I always appreciate that. Stick around for our man, Brother Carney. He is live right now. So let's go ahead and send you all over there. So, with that being said, we'll be back tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness. Until then, God bless, and we'll see you guys in a little bit. Much love, honor, respect.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned.